Hello, friends. This is Alia Jamal, the love coach. We are meeting for another love circle. And today we are talking about one of those intangible topics, and that is our inner world, mastering your inner world. When you think about, or when we even talk about inner world, and you're like, I have no idea what that is, never been there, don't know. Think of any time you get triggered. For example, maybe someone said something and now you're feeling angry. So, this is what's going on. There's a storm going on in your inner world, within you, inside of you, whether you connect with it through your head, whether you connect it through your body, your heart. There's something that has been disturbed within you. And what generally happens, that is where we are leaking a lot of energy. So let's say somebody send you a text message, 8 a.m., you're boiling, 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 but you have to go to work, you have to show up with a presentable self, and you don't process it. You come home in the night, you're feeling drained, you're feeling tired, but you're still feeling at unease. You're not comfortable within you. And that is a perfect example of when something else has taken over your inner world and you didn't have the mastery to shift it, to even connect with it, to realize what's going on. So we are going to take the conversation from right here all the way till something happens outside of you, but you stay in control. That is when you become invincible. That is where you become disturbable, if that is even a word. That is when you get to live and be whoever you want to be, and other thing or other people outside of you don't have control over you. So I know that is a big goal that we are putting here for just this 1 30-minute conversation, but that is a reality you can have access to if you choose to do the work. Because I cannot do it for you, no one else can do it for you. You're the one who are going to make that decision, and making that decision and choosing that path for you is the most loving thing you can do for yourself. So first, let's just talk about what is the difference between, like, me getting disturbed by somebody and somebody not getting disturbed by somebody. Think of your childhood, or think of, like, if you have kids, think of when you just watch kids play. They go over, they fight, they throw their tantrum, and then they come back to their center. Somehow they don't remember, this is what this person did to me yesterday. What is so different about their way of being in the world and our adult way of being in the world? So just keep that in your mind, that how a child can, like, fight and do all kind of thing, and then they come back to their center. What is it that exists in our childhood that ceased to exist in our adulthood? That is the mastering of our inner world. So for a child, when something happens outside of them, there's something so deep within them that they can go back to. So after 30 minutes of them losing their ice cream, it doesn't really matter that their ice cream was on the floor. They can come back to the joy that is within them. It's almost like they have a consistent stream of joy. They have a consistent stream of peace that they can come back to. But what happens as we grow older, at some point, there is such a deeper disconnect from our inner world to our outer world that we start to live outward focused. That's, of course, a lot of criticism that we get, a lot of judgment that we get, a lot of comparison that we get, and that we want to make a space for ourselves in the world. Generally happens in our teenage years. That is when we start abandoning our inner world and we start living outwardly. So what does that mean? The only thing that becomes important, how other people think of me. So if you're an adult living with that thought process, what other people think of you, how other people perceive of you, you're bending backward to get the title of a good girl or a good boy. If you're still living like that, you're disconnected from your inner world. And that is why it's so easy. That's why you feel so fragile. It's so easy for someone to come and just with one comment, with one word, one look, completely turn your inner world upside down. And you're just sitting there one, hoping that they would never do this to you again or complaining about it. And the another thing that we deep down are so angry, why did I let them do that? Why did I let them in? Why do they have so much power over me? I can tell you way back in time, almost 90 years ago when my journey started, that was the one thing that made me so angry towards me, that how come someone else has so much power over me? How come I am letting that person do this to me, even though they are not physically doing anything? Everything was emotional. My inner world was not in my control. So now let's talk about how we can get that control back. Now that we have a visual of a child being able to get back, but for us, sometimes it takes us 6 months to get back to center after we had our conversation. It just keeps playing in our mind, keep playing in our mind. And we don't know where that piece is within us. How do we even connect with it? So I am going to talk about a little bit more advanced concepts. If you grab them, amazing. If you have a hard time grabbing them, please reach out to me. I can help you understand them better. If you're watching it on social media, anywhere, DM me. If you're watching it as a recording on YouTube, you can go to my website, aliajamalcoaching.com, book a consultation with me from there, and we can talk about it. Book a session, we can talk about it. The first concept I'm going to talk about, and I'm teaching, I sat down and this is the first time I'm teaching this topic. I sat down and I thought about, how do I want the conversation to go? And I literally had 4 lines that I was able to jot down. So this is coming from my inner world. That is where I'm teaching it from. So I am going to give you a little bit of advanced concepts, and I'm trusting you'll be able to receive them. If have hard time receiving, just reach out to me. When we start the process going from out to in, the first layer of foundation that must exist, first condition that must exist, is realize you're more than a human body. If you don't realize you're more than a human body, this is just theory for you. If you don't have the belief that you existed before you came into this body, and you will exist after you leave this body, if that belief is not there, even if it's in theory, if that belief is not there, then you might not really be able to absorb what I'm saying in the sequence I'm saying. You might need a different teacher to share this wisdom with you, maybe in a different way of explaining. So realizing this physical existence is the limited expression of the unlimited being that you are. So I'll say that again. Realizing that this physical body is a limited expression of the unlimited non-physical being that you are, the soul that you are, the light that you are, the expanded being that you are. This physical body is a very limited expression of that. So now right away, what we are creating a different identity. Because when we abandon ourselves and we run after other people's opinion and their validation, our identity shifted to, I need to please this person. This person must like me, otherwise I am nobody. Now we are shifting it to, I am somebody so big that this physical body cannot even contain. So how can I ever seek someone validation of this limited expression of me? It's always going to be limited. So what will happen? Someone somewhere always will find something wrong with this limited version, and they'll have something to say about it. But in that moment, I remember I am infinite. There's so much that exists about me that cannot even be contained in this physical existence. That is a whole identity shift that you'll go through. And if you're having just hard time, grasping it, just write it on a piece of paper, read it over and over and over. Sit with this concept in your meditation. Just go within you. I am beyond this body. I am beyond this body. And you'll you'll be so surprised that you're going to start waking something up within you. It's almost like there's a dormant energy within you that is waking up. That is your memory. That is your divine memory. I existed before this body and I will exist after this body. So, whatever your coworker said 5 minutes ago cannot reach that infinite part of you. We are expanding your consciousness with this concept right now. So if, let's say, someone is throwing a stone at you and you're standing right in front of them, you get hit by the stone. But if you are air, you spread so thin, so big, they can't even find where to throw the stone and it won't even be able to hit you because you're so expanded. That's exactly what happens when your consciousness is expanded to the soul level. And it's not just connected with the body conscious slash ego consciousness. Whatever comes in your world can't even disturb you because you're spread thin like air. You're everywhere. How someone is going to attack something that is everywhere. That is who you become. So this is the first layer of mastering your inner world. Inner world is that landscape within you that no one can access. If people are accessing right now, that means there's more work on your part. And in my personal opinion, you will be doing this work of protecting or guarding your inner landscape or your inner world for the rest of your physical existence, because as long as you're here, there's somebody or something that is going to want to tear you down. And this is how you ground yourself. Um, so that is the first layer. You're something, someone beyond this body. Now, the second concept that come is the identity we are so attached to in the physical form. So if you think of yourself, you might say, I'm a man, I'm a woman, I'm this color, this is the work I do. We are attached to it. And because you're attached to it, even the opinions that we have, because we are attached to it, when someone attacks it, that is when you're like, oh my God, they're attacking me and I need to defend myself. Yes, you're supposed to defend yourself living this physical experience and speak up for yourself. You can speak up without getting undisturbed within you. You can get angry and share that anger with someone without getting disturbed within you, or be able to come back to your center within few minutes. That is the level we are talking about. So now just ask yourself how you think of yourself. What do you think of yourself? The parts of you that you're so attached to. I can tell you there was a time when I was so attached to my Muslim identity. And given the kind of stuff that I study, the kind of work I do, teaching people how to, bend reality, how to create a different reality, the kind of word and terminology I use, people kept saying like, oh, you're not a Muslim anymore, you're not this anymore, you're not that anymore. A lot of attack on my identity as a Muslim. Every time that happened, it derailed me. It took me some time and some work to get back to it. And one day I took that question to meditation and I said, what is the solution with that for that? Because as a thought leader, as an ambassador of love, I do have a lot of work to do in this world, and I cannot spare 2, 3 days dealing with something that somebody said. That's a lot of time, for my soul to just let go when I do have the kind of work that I'm here to do. So the message was, let go of your identity. And I sat there and I sat there and I said, can I see myself beyond being a Muslim? Who I am in my existence, if I am not just this religious identity that I'm so attached to, who I am beyond that. And once I started connecting with that, I realized it doesn't matter what we call ourselves. I can call myself like, I'm like Pakistani, I can call myself like, Punjabi, I can call myself a Muslim. It doesn't really matter. Does it really matter? It doesn't really matter. Because all we are trying to do, we are trying to tell the other person, hey, that's who I am. Either you are going to like me or you're going to dislike me. What if I drop those labels? What if I just stick with I'm a human in this moment? I'm a soul in a human body, in human existence, attached to this body right now. What if I stop there? I kid you not, there has been so much liberation from that little work that I did back in January. And after that, still I keep getting whatever, because that is part of the work that we do in this world. There would be people who come to you, they have an opinion about you, but it does not derail me anymore. And I can tell you, friends, ask any thought leader, that is a lot of freedom. So your might not be this heavy and this big. Your might be someone just keeps calling you fat. Someone keeps calling you lazy. Someone keeps calling you you're not good enough. Sit in meditation and challenge that identity, who you are beyond that. Connect with that, who you are beyond every identity that you carry. Now, here's like, the explanation behind why it really works. We lead this world, this life, with the power of our perception. Whatever we perceive becomes part of our life. When you perceive that this person is going to say this to me, or when you perceive I am this person, or when you label that perception, I am a woman, and then you start acting like a woman. I am a single mom, and then you start acting like a single mom, because we have very solid perceptions already made for us to follow. When you're living like that, you're limiting yourself. You're putting yourself in a box. When you say, who I am if I am not this label, that is when you break out of that box and you get access to that infinite energy that we all are, infinite light that we all are. So when you think that you are lazy, when you think you are shy, when you think you are an introvert, when you think that about yourself, and when someone says that to you, you do get triggered in that moment. But not in that moment. Take this to meditation and just tune into that. Who else I can be? What else is possible for me? You'll be surprised. You'll be able to start seeing flashes of you being an extrovert, you being right out there, you being the person who's shining their light. You'll be so surprised. You'll start getting images of that. Then why we are so attached to our identity? One of the things I really enjoy about the work that I do, I do my best not to get attached to it. Yes, this is who I am today. Who else I can be? What else I can be? What else I can bring? That is such a wonderful way to break through the limitation we put on ourselves. So now going back to realizing the first piece of foundation we created, you are beyond this body. Realizing the identity that you hold is moldable. So don't get attached to it. If today you're an introvert, tomorrow you can be an extrovert. If today you're a single person, tomorrow you could be in a relationship. Today you're in a relationship, tomorrow you could be single. If today you're an accountant, tomorrow you might become, a scientist. We are changeable. When you start to get detached from the things that you hold on to so tight, that is another layer you're creating. It's almost like you're sheltering your inner world, because now someone can come, they can attack your identity and you're not bothered by it. Why? Because you can see 1,000 other possibilities for you. They're just attacking one possibility out of the 1,000 you could be. So again, it goes down to, if you have $1 million and someone stole $1 from you, it doesn't bother you. But if you have only $1 and then someone steals that $1 from you, it really bothers you. Start seeing yourself beyond that you're so used to seeing yourself. And now the last one, and that is my favorite one. That is what I ask myself when I'm getting troubled within me. Where do you live? Now, I'm sure we all have been asked this question, where do you live? And you'd be like, oh, I live in this town. I live in that state. I live in that country. I'm not talking about that. I am talking about your metaphysical presence. Where do you live? Do you live in your head that is full of fears? Do you live in your heart that is full of love? Do you live in your stomach that is afraid all the time, have no idea what will happen? Do you live in your legs that sometimes feel shaky, sometimes feel strong? Do you connect with it with your body parts, or do you connect with it in terms of the consciousness? Where do you live? What is the consciousness within you? Do you feel that your world is full of peace and joy, or do you feel your love is full of attacks and hatred? Where do you live internally? And now I'm going to take you to a very practical thing. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and just ask yourself, what is the landscape within me? If my internal situation right now could be a landscape, what is it? This is one of the most this is one of the most powerful strategy that I came across. I cannot remember I know it was in a book. I cannot remember uh, the name of the author right now. Look at that landscape within you. What is it? Is it a desert? Is it a lush forest? Is it beautiful garden? What is it? And now, if it's a place that you don't like, could be a black, dark dungeon. If you don't like it, can you change it to something that you like? Right now you're shifting energy within you on a massive way. Can you shift it to something else? Can you shift into a landscape that you like? And if you can shift it to that landscape, can you hold on to that landscape? And when you open your eyes, can you talk to me as if you're sitting in that landscape? Or do you come back to this moment where you're like, oh my God, this is separate from me, that is separate from me, this is what my identity is. That right there, my friend, if you can just master this technique, no one can ever get to you. I practice this day in, day out, or I do my best to remember to practice it. And I can tell you, I mean, there's not enough time. I can tell you all the long, detailed experiences that I go through, but that is one thing I can tell you. I have gone through a lot of big, small changes in my environment, and this is where I go back to stay centered. So what I have created within me, it's a beautiful forest. It's always noontime there, so I can see the light coming through. That is where I go. That is where I live. That is where I teach from. And the beautiful thing is no one else is in that forest but my non-physical teachers. So I talk to them. When someone is attacking me, someone is saying something about me, when someone is honking at me. I'm a slow driver in Jersey. I get a lot of honks. When someone is doing that, I am there. I'm not really here in this moment where someone is attacking me or, verbally text messages, having an opinion about me or honking at me. And from that place of love, that place of safety, I can look at that person and I can look for that energy within them. That is how you get to master your inner world. Because, first of all, the foundation is that you're more than your body, not attaching to your identity. If you just do these two when you're not attached to your identity, um, like anything someone has to say about you is tied to your physical identity. If you detach from it, there's nothing for someone to get to you. But the last piece that is going to be most powerful is, where do you live from? What is the landscape within you? Who do you have next to you? What is your like, team in there? One of the exercise I do with my clients on their very first session, before even telling them, is have them close their eyes and have them go into a landscape within them. And then sometime I will ask them, do you see any animals? It's so beautiful how each and every individual I have had the privilege to work with so far, their landscape is different. It looks very different. It has different animals, sometimes no animals. The feeling is very different. We are that unique. And based on where do you live within you, you're going to show up as a very different person. You might become that coworker that does not get bothered by all kind of comments, but at the same time, you step forward, not faking kindness. You step forward, being able to see the beauty and the light that other human are, because you can see that inner world within them. You can see the infinite being that they are. You can also see beyond the physical identity. Maybe right now they are being a bully, but you can see beyond that. So in that way, you can be the channel of love and peace. You can create boundaries based on love and peace instead of pretending it or trying to be a doormat. But at the same time, you can see that love and peace in the person across from you. So that concludes our conversation. And as I said, I did teach this whole experience, this topic from my inner world, from that deeper wisdom that exists within all of us. I trust that this conversation had opened up something within you. And if you're ready to go inward and master your inner world and truly be the light that we all are, reach out to me. Let's have a conversation. The more you enlighten yourself from within, the more you help bring peace in this world, love in this world, joy in this world. So the investment of time, energy, and money that you're going to do within you is going to create such a big ripple effect in the beautiful world that right now we are calling home. I'm sending you all so much love. I'll see you next time. Sending you love. Bye.